The night pressed down on Clara like a heavy blanket, suffocating and relentless. She ran barefoot through the dark alley, her breath coming in ragged gusts. Her feet throbbed from cuts and bruises, but she couldn't stop, not now. Not with them behind her. She dared a glance over her shoulder. 3 men in dark suits pursued her, their faces shadowed by the dim streetlights. Their footsteps thundered against the pavement, closing in. She had seen something she shouldn't have, something that made her a target. Now, they wanted her silenced. Ahead, the alleyway split into 2 paths. Without thinking, she veered left, hoping to find an escape. Instead, she met a towering concrete wall, a dead end. Panic surged through her. She spun around, pressing her back against the cold wall, trapped. The men slowed as they approached, their smiles twisted with cruel amusement. The leader, a tall man with a scar running down his cheek, stepped forward. "There's nowhere left to run," he said, pulling a knife from his coat. The blade glinted under the flickering streetlight. Clara's body shook. Her mind screamed for a way out, but fear paralyzed her. Then, in the midst of her terror, the memory surfaced, her grandmother's voice, steady and firm, "When all else fails, plead the blood of Jesus." It was something she had heard since childhood, something that had once seemed like nothing more than words. But now, standing at the edge of life and death, she had no other hope. She squeezed her eyes shut, took a deep breath, and with every ounce of strength left in her, she shouted, "The blood of Jesus." The moment the words left her lips, the atmosphere shifted. A sudden, violent gust of wind rushed through the alley, howling like a storm. The streetlights flickered wildly, casting eerie shadows. The air became thick electric. The men froze. Their eyes widened in terror as an unseen force rippled through the alleyway. The leader staggered backward, his knife slipping from his grip, clattering onto the pavement. One of the men shrieked, covering his ears as if the words burned him. Another dropped to his knees, trembling uncontrollably. Then, as if an invisible hand had struck them, all 3 were thrown to the ground. They screamed screams of pure fear as they scrambled to their feet and bolted in the opposite direction, their cries fading into the night. Clara collapsed to her knees, gasping. The wind settled, the streetlights stopped flickering, and an overwhelming sense of peace filled the alley. The danger was gone. Tears streamed down her face as realization dawned on her. She had been ransomed, saved by a power greater than any darkness. Whispering through her sobs, she said again, this time with gratitude, "The blood of Jesus." As the men fled in terror, a police patrol nearby heard their frantic screams. Suspicious, they followed the noise and found Clara trembling in the alley. Surveillance cameras had captured everything. Within hours, the culprits were identified and arrested, their terrified confessions sealing their fate. Lessons from the story. Firstly, if faith is powerful, Clara's belief in the blood of Jesus gave her strength in a moment of helplessness, showing that faith can be a source of protection and courage. Secondly, evil cannot stand against divine power. The attackers were overpowered by an unseen force, reinforcing the idea that darkness cannot overcome light. Thirdly, fear can paralyze, but faith overcomes. Clara was initially frozen by fear, but remembering her grandmother's words helped her take action, proving that faith can break the grip of fear. Fourthly, there's power in spoken words. Clara's desperate shout changed the entire situation, showing that words, especially those rooted in faith, carry great power. Lastly, justice always finds the guilty. The men thought they could escape after their crime, but they were eventually caught, proving that wrongdoing has consequences. Let me know at the comment section what you think about this story and what Clara would have done better. Please subscribe to my YouTube channel, like and share to others.